Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BMRL Network. We are live at Bristol Motor Speedway with the BNR Cup Series. We've got quite the race in store for everyone tonight, as practice is just wrapping up here, and we're going to jump right into qualifying. These guys are going to have 100 laps here racing, which should be fantastic, interesting race. Dual pit roads as well, meaning that they can enter off of turn number 1 or turn number 3. Just depends on what side of the pit roads you're on. There we go. Qualifying is over, or qualifying is underway. And the first cars are going to make their way onto the track as we get set to focus on them. It looks like Aaron Bradford and the number 5 going to roll out first. Mike Slaughter and Tyler Myers also rolling out. We're going to focus here on Aaron Bradford as he comes out onto the track. Around turns 3 and 4. Gonna take the green flag this time. Aaron driving a really great line through 1 and 2. 3 and 4 as well, driving right in that center of the track. There goes lap 1. It's a 14.76. Brandon Moore up with a 14.23. Aaron's final lap here. Is it going to be faster? A 14.40, good enough for the third place position right now. Brandon Moore, 14.23. That's going to hold him up there in the top spot. Tyler Martin on track as well. Here we go, first time lap. 14.77. It looks like he's going to slow it down. He's going to take that time. Josh Small coming around onto the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. White flag this time for Josh. First lap time going to be a 15 flat. Out of 2 down the backstretch. Really great speed it looks like. Everyone using that middle to high line. Oh, gonna tag the wall. That might hurt his time. And it does. Or, yep, second lap does not count. Matthew Hunsaker around the start-finish line. And he's gonna lose it. Brian Huntley, final time, passing the start-finish line for the final time here, a 14.55. That's going to leave him right there in the 8th place position so far. Nick Shell online, or on the track. All right. Justin Steve's first time is 17.78. Troy Daggett gonna jump up to the top spot with that lap of 14.22. A great lap there. Looks like Joshua Highball gonna take to the track for his opening lap here in qualifying. Looks like he's gonna ride a little bit of a different line compared to these guys. Running that middle to low line there, 14.72. Oh. And it looks like that second lap not going to count as Joshua tags the wall out of turn 4. But yeah, it looks like everyone, like you're saying, everyone has made a lap here besides Zach Deutscher, Bill Hales, and Matt Bryant.
Twice I had the stream open for a moment. I'm like, oh, I'm hearing Chris twice. Let me fix that. Anyway, yes, Bristol Motor Speedway tonight, Chris. Track that's been around forever since 1961. It feels like that is the date. So, paved concrete in the middle of 1992 race year. So it is an interesting and high banked short track to say the least, Chris.
Yeah, it's going to be a very fun race. One of my favorite short tracks. Go ahead and grid. Everyone's gridding up, so let's go ahead and see where these guys are going to start this. On row 1, Troy Daggett takes that pole away from Brandon Moore. Brandon had it for pretty much the whole qualifying until Troy went out there towards the end. Row 2 is going to have Samuel Archibald and James Hudson. Row 3, Nathan Alou and Chris Campbell. Row 4, Mike Slaughter and Skylar Sixton. In row 5, Aaron Bradford and Brian Huntley Jr. In row 6, we got Robert Amaral and Joe Stipe. Row 7, Dale Rapp and Nick Shell. Row 8, Tyler Myers and Pete Woodrum. Row 9, Matthew Hunsaker and Joshua Highbaugh. Row 10, Tyler Martin and Robbie Bice. Row 11, Anthony Lane and Josh Small. In row 12, Paul Lawson and Justin Steves. Looking back a little bit further, we've got in row 13, Bill Hales and Matt Bryant. And rounding out in 27th place, Zach Deutscher.
So the banking here at this just over half-mile track, 0.8 kilometers of a kilometer as well, just for those non-Americans, right, Chris? So
Right.
turns 1 through 4, all the way around, 24 to 28 degrees of progressive banking. A handful of years ago, Chris, Bristol Motor Speedway, Bruton Smith, before God rest his soul, they thought, hey, let's revamp Bristol. Let's make it some progressive banking, not just with the high banks that it already has. Let's make it progressive banking, as we already know throughout the years with progressive bank tracks how well they can be at times. So on the straightaways, 4 to 9 degrees of banking. It is awful steep here. So you got to be careful getting back to the throttle at any moment in time, even blipping it down the straightaways on the worn, even cold tires. I mean, with these Gen 7 cars, they are a handful. Did some practice laps earlier in the week, Chris, and handful, to say the least. Just absolute handful. So it's going to be treacherous. These drivers are on the edge here at Bristol, no doubt about it.
Alright, we're going to do one full rotation lap under pace. Green flag will fly this next time by. As I was touching on earlier, they are doing a dual pit road tonight, so these drivers can enter here on turn 1 or on turn 3, depending on where their pit stall is going to be.
Yes, like you said, depending on if you are where you qualified, you have your pit stalls from where you're qualified. And, 26 drivers, so we can't all pit on the front straightaway here, Chris. So some are going to have to pit on the back straightaway, like you said. So find your pit box, know where you're pitting, front or back straightaway.
All right.
Green flag, green flag.
Troy Daggett, Brandon Moore on the front row. Green flag is out. 100 laps here at Bristol Motor Speedway. So far, so good. Brandon Moore out to about 1.5 car length lead over Troy. There we go, the inside battle right there. Chris Campbell underneath. Saw a lot of these guys using the middle to high line during qualifying, and a few are using that bottom line during the race.
And practice, I mean, you can utilize every lane on this track, Chris. It's just on how comfortable you are placing the car where it wants to go. Pretty much, you know, where you're trying to get it to go as well, in all seriousness. So, Bristol, it's a handful, as we've already talked about, but you can run the top, the middle to low line. Some drivers are just bottom feeders. They're just going to stay on the bottom. Some drivers are going to find it more difficult to be on the bottom. Others setups are going to be able to run middle to top. No doubt about it. As you already see, the race leaders, the top 3 qualifiers, have just got to this middle to high groove, diamonding it in the middle lane pretty much. And I'm just going to cycle through the field here and check on the rest of the field, Chris.
Now with 70% fuel and 100 laps of racing here tonight, do we expect to see any sort of pit stops?
That is a fantastic question. Depending on how the cautions cycle out and where they fall, I'm not expecting to, because if I can remember off of last season at Bristol, it was like 105, 115, somewhere in that range of fuel mileage. So, I mean, I don't think so, Chris. You know, unless it surprisingly stays green, and maybe it's a hard maybe, I think, but I don't think so, Chris. Tires, though, depending on where the cautions fall and who wants to actually lose that track position to try to take the chance to gain it back, and you know, it's a big maybe.
Got some great battling going on here. This is for 10th through 13th, or 10th through 15th now that the 52 is popped in there. Joe
Oh
Stein
yeah, for sure.
continuing to stay out front.
Even what position is that back there with? Got to try to find it again. Yes, Anthony Lane, Josh Small, who is up here. Bill Hells, last week's winner at Las Vegas. Matt Bryan, Robbie Bice, and Joshua Highball leading that field. So 19th on back to 24th. And then Justin Steves and Paul Lawson bringing up the caboose of this train around Bristol at the moment. So
Yep.
good little corals all throughout the field, Chris.
Yeah, and if you look on the race map, it looks like almost pretty much every single part of this track is covered with some sort of vehicle. Someone's racing on every inch of it.
Oh, Dale's having a moment. Wonder, in the wall. Dale Rapp. Just
And the 28.
calamity. Oh, so many more.
Josh Small, it looks like nowhere to go.
I heard his tires start just barking at him. And unfortunately, he lost that car, this concrete surface. I think just going into turn 1. Gonna have to see. Oh, he came across the nose of Matthew Hunsaker, Chris. He turned into the corner and just oopsie daisy right across the nose of Matt. And so many get collected in this. They all try to gather it up, but when he loses it right on the corner entry, coming across the nose of the 3 of Hunsaker, he's trying to gather it back up, but he can't because the car's unloading and just sliding back up on the banking, and then just the pinion of the just yes, Chris, it just a hard thing to control when you've already lost control, and then you try to gather it back up. You've got the wheel cranked to one side, then it's straight again, then but you still have the wheel in the position that you're trying to save the car in. There's so many competitors: Paul Lawson, Dale Rapp, Robert Emerald, Pete Woodrum, Robbie Weiss, Bill Hells, and Matthew Hunsager. We could call him involved in that as well. I want to say Joshua Highball. I'm going to have to get another replay for myself to see who all's involved here, so I can start car counting, I guess you could say.
Ooh,
So
it was a
that's
lot.
one, two,
Pete
three.
Woodrum.
Aaron Bradford. Oh, yeah, Pete Woodrum. I need a different camera angle here. 24 if Tyler Myers gets a piece of it too, I do believe. Or no, yeah, I gotta have to ride on board with Tyler myself here. If not, I think he woes it down to avoid it. 1 second.
But it looks like everyone but the top 4 pits. Everyone from 5th place back pitted, including our leader Brandon Moore, who pitted on lap 20, and he's now 5th place.
Tyler avoided it. Yeah, Nicholas Shell is involved. So that's another car to chalk up. So that's what, like 12 at least. At least 8. I kind of lost count trying to recount this, but a handful of cars.
We're gonna line up here.
Just unfortunate. Sometimes there's just nowhere to go in time, Chris. You know, there's just
And especially with
what
the
goes
short
up must
track.
come down. Oh yes, that indeed as well.
And, you know, especially with something like Bristol, like you were mentioning, the banking on these corners, which you're looking at right there on your screen. It's big enough for 2 wide, but then it kind of banks off when you get to that apron, and
Oh, a big congested restart there on the second row. Nobody could get going on the second row. That's going to be Matt Bryant and whoever else was with him on that second row. They had tires spin for days coming up out at turn number 4 there. The restart zone, just how it is here at Bristol, it's pretty much in turn 4, Chris. So, and on the concrete surface, it's on the banking. I mean, you're not flat. So relatively, that does help whenever it's a flat surface trying to get back onto the throttle with you know, you have this bald treaded tire that, you know, these stock cars run in pretty much every type of stock car. Oh, trouble!
Yellow flag.
Skylar Sixton and Samuel Archibald get together coming out of turn number 4, Chris.
and there's another showing of just
Skylar goes across
Yeah.
the track to maybe avoid Matt Bryan. Matt Bryan has a twitch, and that's, you know, Skylar just reacts to that. And man, it's a junkyard again.
a little bit too high out of the corner, out of turn 2, it looks like, or well, turn 2, I mean.
How many laps did this race start with green?
We did 20 laps.
Man, 20 laps green. If you would have told me we had 20 laps green at Bristol to start it off, I wouldn't have believed you at this point. But Cautions just breed caution sometimes, Chris. And I believe this is one of those moments.
And then everyone kind of just comes in here later on, the 28. And it looks like, I think we have some issue. Yeah, right here, the 81, I think, gets rear-ended by the 42.
Sorry about calling some of these replays or wrecks prematurely, but man, I kind of Rick Allen did. I just jumped to it right as it happened in my picture frame. I guess that's the kind of the perks of two people having iRacing now, eh?
Yeah.
So, sorry, OCD flare up. Or not OCD, COPD. Same thing, just one makes you think you got to have everything in order, and the other one makes you cough a lot. Anyway, jokes. We're all full of jokes from time to time. I'm not sure if we're off this coming up Sunday or not. I'm, so gonna have to double check, I guess, after the race with Brian. I think we're supposed to be taking like a Thanksgiving week break or something like that. So, you know what I mean, Chris? So.
Yeah, I was wondering. Let me look.
It says there's a Thanksgiving break. I can't remember from what Brian reminded me like a couple of weeks ago or what. Anyway,
And then we're headed to the Charlotte Roval when we return.
thank you. I was doing that myself, but I was sharing these. Yes, Charlotte Roval, man. I'm definitely not going to even attempt that one, Chris. I will definitely be up here in the booth again with you, like I am today. I'm not racing that, even though I have the track. I just road courses. Me at the moment, we still. I'd rather it be in a sports car, not a stock car. So, you know what I mean? Getting the restart here. Lights are out on the pace car. Oh, we already rolling. My bad. I was in the replay still, Chris.
Alright, and just like that, Troy Daggett looking for that lead, but Nathan Alou gonna continue to be out in front. Had a few different leaders in the first part of this race already. Brandon Moore started this thing in the lead. Troy Daggett led a little bit, and now Nathan up in the front. But it looks like Troy's searching for a pass here. But
yeah,
Nathan,
TV3 works.
Nathan pretty much
just
holding the power lines.
Yeah, the middle to top, really how you always have wanted to run Bristol since the, like I was talking about, that progressive adding banking, whatever Bruton Smith did to it, that grading of the top or whatever he did to it, Chris, to make it this way, to where like every now and again, every blue moon of Kentucky, you might get a bottom feed race going on at Bristol, but for the most part, it always feels like it's middle to top, middle to top, middle to top. It's almost never, like we talked about, sometimes you can run on the bottom, but, it always feels like what you were talking about, those power lines, how it just feels like the car's just flowing through the corner is going to be that middle to top lane. And a very good defensive lane at that is the middle to top lane, because you can get so much good drive off the corner if you can just hit your marks that we preach about each and every week. So now we are 41 official laps into this race with 2 cautions thrown into the mix here. So we had a good opening stint, 20, like Chris said, 20 lap bash to start us off, and then carnage arose. Now we're just riding it out.
Oh, the
Oh,
third 98. Eddie catches it though. Got a little bit of front left damage though. Looks like though from that.
where is he at?
15th.
Well, I
Here,
know he may
I'll
be.
share my screen so you can watch both.
No, hey, it's difficult alone letting for me to just try to find. I appreciate it, but you don't like. I'm just trying to memorize how to. Oh, he just gets loose. Unfortunate for Skylar. It was almost like I don't want to say what he was doing, but I feel like he was just following Justin in front of him, and Justin gets loose as well. So I do believe. Let me rewind this and watch it again. But no, okay, the car in front of Justin got loose. So who's in the 20? That is Tyler Martin in the 20. So it happened to both of them. I'm not saying that, it could be that like riding in the tail lights effect, but it could have just been maybe Skylar was a bit greedy getting back onto the throttle a bit too early, right, Chris?
Yeah, and that's the thing about coming out to these corners.
Brandon Moore has taken the lead away from Alou. Hello, we gotta get his pronunciation again at some point. So, but there's a tussle going on. He's coming. He's trying to fight back as Jimmy Hudson. Is that Jimmy? No. Who?
Yeah, yep, they're in 4th. Looking underneath
Oh, okay.
Troy. Troy kind of falling back. But that's probably those tires, I think, come into play, as everyone else has pitted, and they have gotten tires, while Nathan and Troy are the only ones that have not pitted.
I hear a car. Tony hawking the wall. It sounds like. I just can't find it.
Ooh, what
I
was
I
that?
guess they finally got off of it.
What just...
Oh, okay, so you heard it too. Yes, I'm not the only one. Is that just the car bottoming out on the track? Is that what we're hearing, or are we hearing? Are
I
we
don't
hearing people
know, like,
bounce out the wall?
I had a server
Yeah, I don't know.
issue
Oh, okay.
for a second, or a couple of cars just kind of disappeared.
Ghostbusters. Well, if this is about okay, Brian, Christopher Campbell, and Nicholas Shell is in a battle. This is 5th, 6th, and 7th. But Campbell kind of, I don't know if he's letting them go. It doesn't look like it. No, he's still giving them what she's got, Captain, on that bottom line. As Brian trying to wrap it around a mid corner diamond on the high side, but he's bouncing out the wall. Brian, that's not the way around. So here comes the 20 on the bottom side. That's Tyler Martin. He has some good forward momentum progress working. So a couple of these guys, almost 3 wide, a couple of these guys are in a bit of a dry back recovery mode, or just in a recovery mode from being collected in at least one incident so far, Chris. And we do have at least a handful of cars out of this race. Sammy Archibald, I want to say Robert Emerald, Pete Woodrum, Del Rapp, Robbie Bice, Bill Hells. I'm not sure who else. Probably Matthew Hunsaker, I do believe, Joe Stipe.
Hmm.
I think maybe also Skylar has parked it. He might be able to confirm that better than I can. Oh, what?
I'm having
Where is that?
server issues.
I heard. Oh, Matthew Hunsaker is coming back out onto the track. You're having server issues? So you're saying I should pop my stream up and just like feel like a howdy doody good time, eh? So we back up and running, Chris, or?
All good for right now.
"13 seconds separates all the cars left on the lead lap. There's 10 of them. Or, excuse me, 11 of them. So 10 cars on the lead lap. Ryan Huntley just went a lap down. So next victim to go a lap down would be Tyler Myers in the 24 car. As Brandon gets to him and starts to work on him now. So amazing how fast, when you have no fast repairs, a 26 car field can get tweedled down into pretty much, not even slightly a quarter of the field, right? After just a couple of cautions, a couple of makeshift demolition derbies, so to speak. That's what you want to pretty much, that's what they looked like, what reminded me of them. But you have a couple of those real quick. That'll really, get out the weeds real quick. And some of them had really good contending cars. Others looked really stable in practice. Others, but some didn't even get to make it a quarter into this race, Chris.
Right, and yeah, it's just one of those things. It's a tough pill to swallow, being involved in an incident, whether or not it was your fault or not. And Bristol, it doesn't require a solid body, I guess you can say. You can race with missing fender wells and whatnot, but a lot of these guys look like they're suffering some pretty heavy damage. 00 on track again. That front end, that radiator pretty much probably got some damage to it. But yeah, and then Bristol, it's so fast. The leader has such a big amount of clean air that it's so easy to just catch the tail end of the field here. As we're seeing now, as Brandon Moore just keeps on passing and putting people laps down.
Yes, currently 8 cars on the lead lap. Those 8 drivers on the lead lap consist of your race leader, Brandon Moore, of course, Nathan Alou, Jimmy Hudson, running in a comfortable 3rd position, I might say. He is up here, and he's been in 3rd for quite a bit now, for a good moment. Justin Steves in 4th position, Nicholas Schell, Troy Daggett, Christopher Campbell, Mike Slaughter, and no, Mike Slaughter, yep. He just fought his way back on the lead lap, I do believe. Brandon Moore in the thick of things, trying to just navigate traffic.
Look at that, just 7 cars on the lead lap, and it looks like Mike Slaughter in danger
Oh,
of...
trouble! Turn 2! Nicholas Schell, glideways, but no caution because of it. He able to gather it up, maintain speed, but I will... Let me see. Pete Woodrum, he just he just kind of cuts across the nose of Pete. Just a racing deal there, short track. You know, you're gonna get together. Sorry about that, Chris.
Oh no, you're good.
And so many drivers just having problems, just trying to get the car to turn. Oh, pinballing going on. Brian Huntley and Troy Daggett, just unfortunate circumstances of where, like I was just saying, some drivers just can't seem to get the car to turn for them in this late in the going run here. Already 12 laps to go. Or 10. Is it 10?
Coming around the 10 this time.
Gotcha, 10-4. I was on somebody that was a lap down or more. My apologies. So, yeah, Brandon Moore, they were just, once they were finally put into a rhythm of setting them up and putting them down, that is what they have done. Oh, it's getting kind of hairy. A little bit further back. By further back, I mean second place. Because he has cars that may be on different tire than he is, so some drivers had pitted, other drivers, like you say, didn't pit.
Look at
Oh,
that.
okay, these drivers are having to pit. So, yeah, it's awful. It's awful interesting.
Got Brian Huntley on pit road. Mike Slaughter continuing to try to hold on to that lead lap.
Four laps remaining. Can Brandon Morris stay out front for four more laps? Can Nathan Alou do anything? He's only a second and a quarter, a second and a half behind Brandon Moore, but he's got a couple of lap traffic to pass. And also, Brandon Moore has this traffic hindering him in a way, just all over him. He's trying to stay within the wheel tracks of Mike Slaughter's. The 42 gives him a bit of a nudge. Brandon Moore.
Well, you know what? We have someone in the comments that is cheering for Nathan. Wonder if be able to get some help on how to pronounce Nathan's last name.
Well, I'm sure if he's still in second whenever this race ends,
Oh yeah, we'll be
two
talking to
laps
him.
to go here. Oh, most definitely. I asked him, what was it, last week or the week before, how to pronounce his name. He said it, I do believe, so I just forgot. So white flag is waving. Brandon Moore going to be coming through turn 4, off of turn 4 now, and gets the checkered flag here tonight at Bristol. Nathan's going to get second. Jimmy Hudson. Oh my goodness. We get to talk to James Hudson driving the 6 car. And Justin Steves gets a top 5 tonight in 4th place. Mike Slaughter gets 5th. That's the top 5 tonight.
What a quickie. Get a nice shot of that Red Bull number 88. All right.
All right, so you want me to yank anybody up here? Like, who are we talking to first? If I could find them.
I would just, yeah, let
Look.
them join the waiting room first.
Oh, okay.
The
10-4.
last thing I'm gonna do is start a mid conversation or
Oh, I
something.
love doing that. It's like the cartoon characters from the old Looney Tunes that has the cane on stage and they just yank them by the neck.
I don't want to get demonetized.
Oh, well, I guess
No.
that's sometimes you can't really help it when people just blurt out stuff like they're in Moonclar, you know? I always say you cannot control what other people say that's not you. You can only control you. Brandon Moore already in the waiting room, so I mean, I get, race winner could be first if you want. I'm just saying he has popped his head in there. You don't see nobody? I see Brandon.
Uh-uh.
Weird. I got him. Here he comes.
Oh, he's in the wrong waiting room. I see.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you got him
Hey,
there.
Brandon Moore. Congratulations getting the
Look,
win here,
look.
man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
It was a pretty great race. You led almost every single lap besides that first caution after like lap 20. You came down pit road, restarted in the fourth or fifth position, but then you climbed your way back to the front after that, and what a race, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I love Bristol. Gotta love a hometown win, home track. Uh, Always try to perform good here, and then we happen to out with the win tonight. Car drove really, really good. Had some pretty stiff competition, but me and about three other guys that was equal fast. I think what it boiled down to is having a couple lap extra pressure tires there. That they didn't. He's able to navigate the traffic pretty good.
Yeah, you definitely were, and it looked like you were just knocking the laps down, passing people left and right, putting them, a lap down at least. I think you got it all the way to, I'm pretty sure 6 cars were left on the lead lap.
Yes.
Grief.
Yeah.
I want to say actually the top 5 was left on the lead lap. Mike Slaughter was the last one to finish on the lead lap. So top 5 finished on the lead lap. Talk about real quick, almost getting the pole tonight, but Troy, pesky Troy, beating you out for the
Just
pole.
randomly
Yeah.
threw down a burner. That's a
Oh
good
yeah.
lap. That's a good lap. That's a good job by him. Yeah, that'd be a tough lap to beat there. He's quick there in the race too.
He's a good short track specialist, but he's also an all-arounder type driver. But man, those short tracks, he's got to watch out for him.
Yeah, the main thing here is since it's not overdriving the corner entry and burning up the right front. Once the right front's dead, then you're just absolutely killed the rest of the run.
I can't remember or not if there is an off for Thanksgiving holiday or whatnot. But if there is, we would pick back up at the Roval, the Charlotte Roval, not the Kansas Roval, not any other Roval, just the regular Charlotte Roval. Brandon, how's the thought and mindset preparation and so on?
We typically run pretty good at the Roval. I anticipate probably at least running, top five. Should be a pretty good points day there. But I like the Roval. It's a pretty interesting, road course that could
Mhm.
provide some interesting racing.
I've tried to talk Brian into letting us run the Kansas Roval, but he's like, oh, they don't have a setup for it or some other type of.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh well, come on, it's open setup night. Well, let's build our own, right? Anyway, final thought,
true.
shout outs, Brandon.
Homestead Roval.
Oh, dude,
Oh, yeah.
oh.
I forgot they had a road course in there.
Yeah, they got multiple layouts
Yeah.
there.
Yep, they sure do.
Yeah.
I just planted a seed there.
Oh, yeah, yes. Plant a seed. Hey, that's a great song. We King as Romans. If you've never heard it, look it up. It's a good one. Yes.
Final shout outs. Just want to thank admins for doing a job putting on these events. Thank all the drivers about the race tonight. Thank the broadcast as always, doing a phenomenal job calling these events. And looking forward to taking this win momentum onto the Roval. And hopefully we can turn right as well as left at the Roval and with similar results.
All right,
That's
man.
your
Well, looking at it as well at the winner circle, this is your second win this season as well.
Yeah, it's a long time coming. I got that one knocked down. It's been a minute. I'm like, we got to get us another dub. I didn't know if it was gonna be Bristol or not. Bristol, one of those tracks you can't really predict. You just hopefully the chips land in your favor, so to speak.
All right, man. Well, congratulations getting the win here tonight, and move on to the next race like you were just discussing, Charlotte Roval.
Alrighty, it sounds great.
Alrighty.
Thank y'all.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good night.
All right, and our third place finisher, James Hudson. Welcome to the booth, man. You got a copy?
How's it going, guys?
Oh, going pretty well. You were able to pull off the third place here, stay on the lead lap, even as Brandon Moore was knocking him down. Man, and you made it through any sort of incident that happened tonight. Congratulations, getting that podium finish.
Thank you much. Yeah, just kind of went into it thinking keep the nose clean, stay up front as I qualified up front, to pretty much be able to finish there. And hey, I was able to pull it off. I think me and Brandon had the same setup. I got mine from Brian, and I think that's where he got his. I just made a few tweaks to it to make it a little better on the long run. That way it wasn't so loose coming off, and it worked.
Nice. And that's the one thing I never understood. I like the fixed setups. I've never been one to build my own setup or mess around with the setup. But yeah, it seemed that it worked for you guys, and you guys were able to finish first and third. But
What would be, Jimmy, next week, if we run next week, if we're off next week, when we pick back up, the Roval, are you going to be able to put a burner down for the Roval and maybe qualify up front for that?
Yeah, no, man. Look for me to be in the back.
Yeah, man, I saw you up here tonight. I'm like, that driver of the race award, in my opinion, would go to you. Like, for, staying up here all night, and everything like you did. Tremendous job, tremendous effort at Bristol. But like you said, next time at the Roval, what part are you anticipating? Like you said, in the back mainly.
Oh yeah, and thank you again, man. Yeah, Bristol's one of my favorite tracks. But yeah, at the Roval, expect me to be in the back. I've never been good there.
All right. Well, Chris, final thoughts, I guess, shout outs we could give to you, or you could give. My bad. Floor is open to you there, Jimmy.
Just thanks for Brian and everybody for putting on the league. The family for putting up with the bull crap and letting me do this. And other than that, yeah, just everybody in the league.
all right, man. Well, congratulations getting that top 3 finish. Gonna be a good one for the points as we move towards the end of this thing. About halfway through. Yeah, congratulations.
Yep, thank you, boys. Have a good one.
All right, and now our second place. All right, our second place finisher here, Nathan. It's Chris and Will in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thanks.
Now, before we get into this race thing, there's one thing that we've got to learn is how do you pronounce your last name?
Alul.
Alul. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we about getting it right 50% of the time.
We're just forgetting that ul at the end.
Yeah,
Alright.
no worries, man. No worries. Thanks for having a French dude like me in this league. It's
All are welcome.
it's awesome.
Yeah, that's what we say. All are welcome until like well, I can't really talk, but I'm just saying I've been a past admin in the past years ago, but hey, all are welcome, So we
Oh,
try to
thanks.
be a very opening and welcoming small community, I guess you could say, of iRacing, and then we try to give everybody a chance, everybody a shot. I'm trying to speak for Brian here at the moment, but yeah, exactly, man. Like you seem like a very humble person, and you know what you're doing, So tell talk about Bristol tonight. Your run tonight at Bristol. What more could you have needed to run down Brandon to get the win tonight?
Well, I was expecting another yellow, but it didn't happen. So I was a little short on tires life. Actually, I was struggling to turn because I was too understeery in my setup. So the more I run, the more the tires feel understeery. The car feels understeery. I was able to keep it up with Brandon, but too many battles in traffic. So
Right.
yeah, tire wear.
And it seemed like your car was mainly a bottom line dominant car. It looked like you could run that top side, but the car would almost get out from underneath you more so. So, is that what you built that setup on? Was mainly running the bottom line, being comfortable on the bottom?
Yeah, I mean, I think the conditions for tonight's race was actually very different from what I practice on. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't a choice actually. It was too understeery for me. So I was struggling with the car. I was trying to keep that momentum, but yeah, the traffic was killing me because you have to run different lines and maybe maybe yeah, I was trying to get on top actually because you are really loose, but yeah, if you have an anti-steering car, it could actually work, but yeah, too much traffic on late race. So congrats to Brandon. He was actually very fast and very consistent. And yeah, I gamble on not taking tires at the first yellow and the only or maybe the second caution. I don't remember, but yeah, I was really struggling with understeer, and yeah, that's it.
Next time we hit the track, whether we take a break for the holiday or not, will be uh, the Charlotte Roval. I don't know why I almost said Road America. The Charlotte Roval. Uh, what what's your mindset and preparation every time you go into the Roval?
Um, the Roval really technical track, so patience and always keep it clean. I mean, like tonight, I was trying to get aggressive for the win, but you have to keep it clean, and it's the same spirit when you race on road courses because it's really easy to make mistakes. So patience, let the race come to you, and yeah, I mean, I like this track. It's very technical, but it's a nice track.
Well, Nathan, final thoughts, shout outs, anything else you'd like to add about tonight's race?
Yeah, thank you guys for the broadcast. Thank you for the support. Thanks for every drivers. That was a very clean race actually for a short track racing. So thank you guys. Shout out to my wife for always supporting me, and shout out to my family. It was awesome.
Well, Nathan, best of luck to you next time, and we'll hopefully see you at the Roval.
All right, see you guys. Thanks.
All right, man. Congratulations.
Thanks.
All righty. Well, that wraps up a clean one here at Bristol. Like I said, there was two wrecks or two yellows. I think we had 3 or 4 wrecks, but a couple of them weren't yellow worthy.
Yeah, there was a couple that just, like you said, wasn't yellow worthy. But then, if you want to, there was, either the first or second crash that we had was just an ongoing event that just kept on going. It was like the Energizer Bunny. It finally ran out
Yeah.
of steam.
That
So
gift that keeps
that's
giving.
yeah, that's what hurt us with the car count. That well, what ended up to be only 5 cars. I feel like if it wouldn't have been for a couple of those, one of those cautions, we would have not had 5 cars on the lead lap. I feel like it would have been at least maybe 10. I feel like.
Well, after Bristol, we head to the Roval. Gonna be a pretty fun one to be a part of and to broadcast that one. We're gonna look into seeing if we're off this coming Sunday or not. But yeah, we'll be back with the Roval, whether it's this coming Sunday or in 2 weeks from now.